Hey, it's good to see you. Hello, and welcome to this video. Tonight, I really wanted to do a kind of TBR, what I've been reading, what I've read recently type video. But some of these books I don't think that I've shown in hauls, so it might be slightly haulish. They might be new to you. I don't know. And I also want to just give the disclaimer that I'm using my iPhone mic tonight because we are in the zone before and after of the 4th of July, so there are just practice fireworks, leftover fireworks, all kinds of fireworks in the background, but me personally, I find them a little relaxing. So I just thought I'll go ahead, film, and hope that you find them relaxing too. So the way I tend to do these videos is I'm going to show you books that I've recently finished reading, then the ones that I'm currently reading, like right now. Not right now, but like right now. And then two that I plan to read really shortly. And I'm excited to share those with you because I know you haven't seen them yet, and they're kind of surprising for me, but I'm genuinely so thrilled to have them and excited to read them. So, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books total, I'm just kind of gonna keep things moving. Not too quickly, but just at a nice, gentle, but intentional, focused pace. So, starting with the books I've recently read. I have been on a big Natalia Ginsburg kick, like a big time. I just read Valentino, excellent. And then I read Sagittarius, even better. Actually, I read Sagittarius first, then Valentino. And then I picked up The Dry Heart. I don't know if I've shown this one to you or not. The Dry Heart by Natalia Ginsburg. And I really liked it. Sagittarius is number 1 for me. This woman wants to move to the city and open an art gallery, and she makes friends with this person who's like a little fishy. And I also really liked Valentino, where this guy is getting married to this woman who's older than he is and not very good looking, but has a lot of money, and everyone's like, why? And then this one is about a woman who has very few marriage prospects and lives alone in a boarding house. And then she meets this guy that she's into. And they get married, but it's not what she expected. I won't spoil it, but I really liked it. She writes these succinct novels, kind of novella style novels. So they are crisp and to the point, really honest, really clearly, insightfully written. Not too much like overworked prose or description. It's just really good. So I would recommend that one to you or anything else by her. Then I read The Pumpkin Eater, which matches my nails. The Pumpkin Eater by Penelope Mortimer. And on the front you can see there's this carriage with these strange children in it. this one for a while, and I just haven't picked it up. I read recently people talking about wanting to finish all their unread books, and I understand that impulse, but someone was speaking against it and saying it's more like having like a wine cellar, if you will. Like, of course you didn't drink all the wine in your wine cellar. There are bottles that are waiting for the right moment, the right time, the right people, the right mood. So I was just not picking this one up, not because I didn't want to read it, but I wasn't grabbing it, you know? So I finally picked it up, and it's really good. It's about this woman who has married several different men. She's had many children by them, and basically people think she's crazy because she has this kind of compulsion to have kids. She keeps wanting to have more, but she's not that interested in raising them. She doesn't abandon them either, but she just keeps having kids, and it's also pretty impulsive, jumping from relationship to relationship, and is just, I would say, essentially very unfulfilled, unsatisfied with her life. But she has like a great energy to her, like a really strong spirit. And she's married to this successful guy, and they're building this big, gaudy house in the country that she calls the Tower, with plans to move there one day. And it's just about her marriage kind of falling apart, or going to a therapist or a psychoanalyst, and her compulsions and her kind of like circling certain ideas in her life, and I really liked it. It's also very interesting if you get this edition. From the foreword, you learn that Penelope Mortimer basically wrote this book and many others in different iterations or different manners. She wrote them all in a semi-autobiographical way. So as you're reading about this woman, you're just like, wow, that's why that raw truth is hitting so hard. It's because it's based, at least in part, from her experience and her life and her feelings. So I really liked it. She was unlike any other character I've read before. Then this one I actually didn't read recently, but I must share it with you. I don't know if I've shared it on this channel before. It's one of my very favorite books. I read it ages ago, and then it got lost in the mail when I was sending my books here to this address when I moved in. I was very sad about that, but then I got over it. So here and there, as I've been wanting to reread books that I lost, I've been rebuying them, and this is one that I rebought, and I plan to read it this summer. But because I've read it before, I didn't feel like it was right to put it in the full TBR pile, if that makes sense. Makes sense to me. It's the feeling. Since it's a story that I'm already familiar with, you cannot go wrong with this book, okay? It's called Cassandra at the Wedding. Cassandra at the Wedding by Dorothy Baker. And it's about this woman who's very bright. I think she's gone to, university. She's a graduate student at Berkeley. She's gay, and she has a twin sister who is getting married to a guy. And she is doing everything she can to get to this wedding to put an end to it, basically. There's this feeling in her that her twin should somehow be her alter ego, and she just doesn't feel like the marriage or the wedding is the right move. So she's trying to get there with, I think, very little money because she's a student. course of events in which the heroine appears variously as conniving, self-aware, pitiful, frenzied, absurd, and heartbroken. At once utterly impossible and tremendously sympathetic. Yeah, I'm just, oh yeah. She has a complicated relationship with her father as well. It's really, really good. Really, really good. So, moving on to what I'm reading now. Got 3 books. The first one I'll just say a quick word on because it's a part of my renewed Italian study, my self-study. So I've already read this, but I have not been studying Italian for a while. I think I was studying it for a few years, and then everything happened, and so probably around 2021, I dropped it pretty much entirely, and haven't really done anything with it since this spring. So I'm very rusty. So I'm rereading this just to kind of get started again. It's In Altre Parole, which is In Other Words by and she's a native English speaker. She might be a native speaker of another language as well, I'm not sure. But she just fell in love with Italian, studied it throughout her life, but then made the big decision to move to Rome. And really immerse herself in the language and the culture. Just because she loved it so much. So then she wrote this book in Italian herself, so it's not in translation. Both a very easy read for me and yet a very insightful read. So if you're learning Italian or you speak Italian well, either way, I think it's worth checking out. Yeah, it's a really special book because even if you have beginner, intermediate Italian, you can read this and it won't be boring, I promise. So then I'm also reading nonfiction. We have Who's Afraid of Gender by Judith Butler. It has this gorgeous dust jacket with a purple stripe, a yellow stripe, and then purple and yellow on the back. And I have this dinky little bookmark in here that my parents got me at a craft fair. It's really like a whatever kind of thing, except they got it because it reminded them of me, and that makes me laugh. It says, they got me a few of them, I think 3 of them, but I only know where 2 of them are. So it says, I read books so I don't have to talk to you, which I think is, historically their experience of me reading books as a kid growing up and all of that. It wasn't so I didn't have to talk to them, but I would be very immersed, So this book has been excellent so far. I'm a little over halfway through it. A lot of these back pages are notes, footnotes, bibliography, things like that. Bibliography. So I'm just going to read the inside flap to you because I just want to do the premise and thesis of this work justice. I'll just read from here down. Who's Afraid of Gender examines how gender has become a phantasm for emerging authoritarian regimes, fascist formations, and trans-exclusionary feminists. In this vital, courageous book, Butler illuminates the concrete ways in which this phantasm of gender collects and displaces anxieties and fears of destruction, resulting in a movement that demonizes struggles for equality, fuels aggressive nationalism, and leaves millions of people vulnerable to subjugation. An essential intervention into one of the most fraught issues of our moment, Who's Afraid of Gender is a bold call to refuse the alliance with authoritarian movements and to make a broad coalition with all those who fight against injustice. Imagining new possibilities for freedom and solidarity, Butler offers us a hopeful work of social and political analysis that is both timely and timeless, a book whose verve and rigor only they could deliver. So, if that seems interesting to you at all, I would highly recommend it. I think it just came out last month or so. There's lots more I want to say, but I think it's said better in this book itself. And in the name of relaxation, I'm just going to leave it here for you. Okay, and then I'm also reading, you can hear it sticking to my leg. I'm also reading Apple in the Dark, the apple in the dark by Clarice Lispector, the inimitable Clarice Lispector. Look at this gorgeous cover with this kind of night vision, purpley, dark apple. I am obsessed. So this one, you can see I've not read much yet. I'm right there. But so far so good. She felt it was the best one that she had written, the best book, the best novel. It is famously intense. And it was written / published in 1961. She said, "I can't define it, how it is. I can only say that it's much better constructed than the previous ones." This came out, I think, in the fall of last year. So basically it's full of mysteries and allegories. A guy is fleeing from a crime he believes he committed and plunges into the dark nocturnal jungle. Stumbling along, he eventually comes to a remote ranch and finds work with the two women who own it. The women, tranquil enough before his arrival, are shaken by his radical mystery. The novel vibrates with the protagonist's perpetual searching. He's ever on the watch for life to take on the dimensions of a destiny. I love that, because that's a quote from the book. It's not just the copy. It's not just the copy on the back. It's a quote, "For life to take on the dimensions of a destiny," end quote. So I've, not read a lot, like I said, but have definitely underlined some good lines, and I can't wait to see where it goes. She just writes in this really brilliant, spiritual, elemental way, and I'm so pleased to be able to read this. So the translator is Benjamin Mauser, so thank you, Benjamin. Super psyched. Okay, and then to wrap this up, books that I am going to read, that I cannot wait to read, include these two. These are the only two I have to show you. These are the two that are for sure going to be read and are for sure pending. They are two books that I found in a tiny library in my neighborhood, and I snagged them. I was like, what better timing could I possibly hope for to pick up these beautiful, wonderful books? So if you want to guess what they are, now's your chance. Okay, so they are two books by Emily Henry. I have been considering picking up a book by her for a while. I don't really read romance. I know everyone loves her. She as a person seems phenomenal also. I've been like this close several times to picking up one of her books at the store and buying it. And so I didn't though. So I'm glad to have this opportunity to read her work and see how I feel about it. I think these were read poolside maybe, or in a bath, or on the beach. This one less so, but they've definitely been toted around like a good summer book should, or a good beach book, a good pool book. So we have Book Lovers, which, if Haley Jean has taught me anything, I think is a enemies to lovers trope. I don't know any of the romance novel tropes, but basically, yes. So Nora is a cutthroat literary agent and gets stuck on a trip with Charlie Lastra, who's a brooding editor from back in the city. And I think they are not into each other, and then they are. So, it's brilliantly conceived because for book lovers such as myself, I can think of no better story. And then we also have here Happy Place, which is about Harriet and Wynne. They were the perfect couple since they met in college. They broke up 5 months ago, but haven't told their best friends. And then they're going on a trip as well to a Maine cottage for their friend group's yearly getaway. What a mess. So I'm very, very, very excited about these. If you read Emily Henry or have a favorite or just strong opinions or I don't know, anything, let me know down below. Love to hear too what you're reading this summer. If you've read anything good, would love to hear. I hope you're doing super, super, super well. And if you're not, that's okay too. I'll talk to you very soon. And until then,